Don't skip this week's One Piece episode. Next week's will get your blood pumping even more. The world's One Piece fans are eagerly awaiting the debut of Saint Saturn, and it's finally happening. In Toei's preview, Luffy continues his battle against Kizaru from this episode. As discussed last time, Kizaru is desperate to kill Vegapunk, while Luffy's primary goal is to interfere and hold Kizaru back, a task he's already perfected. According to the preview, the animation team will likely create an original scene of Luffy using Gorilla Gun in combat. On Vegapunk's front, following Atlas's shout last episode, our side successfully regains control of all pacifistas. The only remaining task is rescuing Bonnie. Just as everyone thinks things are turning around and starts preparing to escape Egghead Island, Jagerlacia Saturn, the scientific defense warrior god, makes a demonic entrance through a magic circle, crashing onto Egghead Island and spiking the danger level once more. This is the craziest, most intimidating villain preview I've ever seen. That sudden close-up in the trailer even shook me through the screen. I have to say, One Piece fans have been eating so well these past few weeks. Based on last week's animation quality, next episode will be nothing short of god tier. Every second will be incredible. Can you imagine Luffy knocking Kizaru out of the fight with a single right hook? Don't miss it. That scene is guaranteed to be an annual top moment. If an anime consistently delivers top-tier audio-visual experiences and keeps surprising fans, it deserves all the hype. What are your thoughts on the details of next week's One Piece episode? Let's chat in the comments. This is the most oppressive villain debut of the year. This week's One Piece episode maintains the ultra-high animation quality from the previous chapter, delivering another thrilling viewing experience that satisfies fans. In the plot where Bonnie is rescued, she showcases her abilities, setting the stage for two white surprises in the future. You know exactly what I'm hinting at, right? Notably, before Saturn's arrival, Luffy's battle with Kizaru reveals that Luffy still can't outmatch the Marine Admiral, only barely managing to hold the powerful warrior at bay. Zoro also acknowledges that Lucci is a formidable opponent, suggesting that Lucci might even surpass Zoro, who lacks Conqueror's haki in strength. As a side note, May 5th is Luffy's birthday. Happy birthday to our favorite rubber pirate. Beyond the exhilarating battles that already have fans on the edge of their seats, this episode's portrayal of the villain's oppressive aura is textbook perfection. The stormy, dark, roiling skies and the immediate reactions from powerhouse characters Luffy, Kizaru, Zoro, Lucci, Jinbe, along with a unique shot of Chopper's primal, instinctual fear, amplify the tension tenfold. When black lightning strikes and a colossal, eerie spider crawls toward the screen from a pentagram magic circle, the anime adds an iconic touch. Saturn emerges from a sticky, oozing mass of liquid, a visual homage to classic horror anime imagery, likely recognizable only to seasoned fans. The terrifying atmosphere engulfs the island instantly. We eagerly anticipate Saturn's true confrontation with the Straw Hat Crew. What are your thoughts on Saturn's arrival on Egghead Island? Share your theories in the comments. Where are all the haters now? Can this episode still be called over-animated? In this week's latest episode, Saint Saturn, one of the 5 elders, finally makes his grand entrance on Egghead Island. You won't find a more tense villain introduction in any anime from the past 2 years. When Saturn emerged from that magical pentagram, his overwhelming aura forced every powerful character to freeze mid-action. Luffy versus Kizaru, Zoro versus Lucci, even Chopper's animal instincts kicked in, as if sensing an impending catastrophe. This episode shut up all the One Piece naysayers, though it's ironic that Sanji's observation haki was ignored by the animation team again, leaving fans like me frustrated. The term over-animated is absurd to begin with. It implies animators shouldn't overload scenes with detail. Honestly, I'd take over-animated any day over the under-animated messes like Blue Lock or the beginning after the end. Even more ridiculous, someone claimed this episode was AI generated. If this level of quality is AI work, then every animator on the planet might as well quit, because every frame is packed with details you can't even catch on the first watch. The fluidity of Saturn's centipede legs, the electricity crackling in Luffy's fists, the sweat on Zoro's brow mid-clash. These are the marks of human craftsmanship, not soulless algorithms. Bottom line, the One Piece anime is firing on all cylinders. Let's dive into the next chapter of Egghead Island. Got any other fun One Piece thoughts to share? Let's chat in the comments. The undead foe plaguing the Straw Hats finally meets its match. A solution to defeat the God's Knights may have arrived with Jabba's sudden appearance. New One Piece intel is here. At the start of the chapter, Somaz threatens the Giants by dangling children over a cliff, giving them 30 seconds to decide whether to burn down their school and library. The Giants conclude Somaz has gone mad. After all, how can they choose between millennia of accumulated knowledge and innocent lives? This trolley problem sparks internal division among them. Somaz smugly believes that destroying the library will erase any risk of the world government's 800-year hidden history being exposed. Witnessing this, Nami curses the God's Knights, calling them the lowest of villains, while Robin uses her devil fruit powers to try breaking Somaz's spine. Shockingly, Somaz's undead body renders her attack useless. Underestimating Robin, Somaz doesn't anticipate her sacrificing herself by dragging him off the cliff, but he easily escapes her grasp. As the God's Knights continue their threat, countdown reaches 0, and Aruru reluctantly orders the library's destruction at the last moment. Just as all hope seems lost, Jabba, the right-hand man of the Pirate King, arrives in a flash. With a single swing, he severs Somaz's arm and breaks the secret of the God's Knight's immortality. In the final double-page spread, a furious Jabba splits Somaz's chest wide open. That's the latest intel. Looking forward to the full chapter. Got other One Piece topics you're curious about? Let's discuss in the comments. The Drum Mountains on Drum Island were actually trees originally, which were cut down by Jabba. In chapter 1139 of the manga, Jabba is called the Mountain Eater. This is because Roger once received treatment in a hospital, and Jabba single-handedly defeated the attacking enemies and cut down all the trees on the scene. However, have you noticed the problem? Is it a bit of an overreaction to become a legend and a world famous story just for defeating many pirates and cutting down many trees? Moreover, these things have nothing to do with the mountain in the title Mountain Eater. But if I tell you that all the mountains on Drum Island were originally giant trees that towered into the sky, Jabba cut down these giant trees that were taller than mountains in the battle, then wouldn't he be worthy of being called a legend? Next, please look at the 3 clues I found. First, Oda deliberately made the experiences of Luffy and Roger exactly the same. Therefore, Roger has been to all the islands that Luffy has visited. Moreover, Drum Kingdom is the only medical country. So, considering that Roger needed treatment, it is very likely that the hospital mentioned earlier is on Drum Island 2nd. Kureha, Chopper's teacher, knew Roger. Although we don't know how well she knew him, we can make a bold assumption that maybe Dr. Kureha was the one who treated Roger back then. Third, do you still remember Dr. Hiriluk's lifelong research achievement? He once told a story about a person suffering from a terminal illness who searched everywhere for a cure. One day, he came to a cherry blossom tree and was cured. This story is very strange, but Hiriluk firmly believed in it. Was Oda simply trying to show that Hiriluk was a complete fool? Of course not. The person cured here was Roger, who led Hiriluk to start his own research. For the convenience of understanding, I have organized the storyline as follows. In 1447, Roger was born. Hiriluk was 9 years old, and Dr. Kureha was 66 years old. From 1467 to 1500, the Roger pirates became very famous. Hiriluk also started his research in 1476 during this period. In 1467, Roger came to Drum Kingdom, which had giant cherry blossom trees, to seek treatment from Dr. Kureha. Jabba cut down all the giant trees to protect Roger. After the battle, Roger's illness was cured. Hiriluk witnessed or heard about all this, and therefore started his research in order to make the cherry blossoms bloom again. This story was gradually spread, and the remaining tree stumps were mistaken for natural mountains by later generations. Thus, Jabba obtained the title of Mountain Eater. Does everything seem to fit together? Regarding this speculation, everyone is welcome to correct and supplement it. Does Gear 5 Luffy, who even Kizaru can't defeat, have a purpose? This is a highly controversial topic. On one hand, Gear 5 Luffy's debut has thrilled countless fans. Its absurd, one-of-a-kind battles feel truly groundbreaking, perhaps never to be replicated. The way his body stretches into rubbery cartoons, turns clouds into trampolines, or mimics giant monsters defies all traditional shonen combat norms, embodying Luffy's core trait, fighting with joy, not just strength. On the other hand, critics argue his awakening feels abrupt, retconning the Gomu Gomu no Mi into the Hito no Mi model Nika, suddenly framing Luffy as the chosen one of a mythical liberation god, undermines his underdog charm. For over 20 years, fans rooted for Luffy because his strength came from grit and bond-driven stubbornness, not destiny. Now, his victory over Kaido hinges on a divine fruit, not just his crew's blood, sweat, and tears. The tonal whiplash is another issue. Fans used to tense. Strategic battles find Gear 5's slapstick, like turning Kaido's club into a slingshot or defeating attacks with laughter, disruptive. It risks making the final saga feel more like a cartoon than the epic climax fans anticipate. Then there's the fear of power creep. If every future villain requires the Nika cheat code, what happens to Zoro's swordsmanship, Sanji's moral dilemmas, or the Straw Hat's teamwork? The author must balance Luffy's godlike form with the crew's growth, or risk reducing them to bystanders in their own story. Love it or hate it, Gear 5 is a bold statement. One Piece has never been about fair power scaling. It's about a boy who laughs in the face of godlike tyranny, turning pain into rubbery punchlines. But does prioritizing thematic symbolism over gradual growth betray the series' heart? What's your take? Is Gear 5 a genius evolution of Luffy's character, or a lazy shortcut to endgame power? Share your thoughts in the comment. I just realized that over the past 2 years, Luffy has invited 19 people to join his crew, but 10 of them rejected him outright. Want to know who they are? The first one is Gaemon. This quirky old man, forever stuck in a treasure chest, has a unique charm that caught the attention of 2 Yonko. However, Gaemon couldn't bear to abandon the animals on his island, so he turned down both offers. The second one is Vivi. Fans once believed she'd become the Straw Hat's 6th member, but her role as a princess tied her to Alabasta. Still, I have a feeling she'll reunite with Luffy soon. The third one is Kureha. Luffy tried to recruit this sharp-tongued, ageless doctor, but she'd long since lost interest in the sea and refused outright. The fourth and fifth ones are a tree spirit and a unicorn. Luffy's obsession with exotic creatures is no secret. If his crew hadn't stopped him, he might have literally dragged these 2 onto the ship. The sixth one is Kinnaman's lower half. Luffy, dreaming of being a centaur, repeatedly begged Kinnaman's disembodied legs to join the crew. His interest vanished once Kinnaman was whole again. The seventh one is Centaur Luffy's first friend on Punk Hazard, a real-life centaur. He eagerly invited them to join her until the centaur realized Luffy was a pirate and turned hostile. The eighth and ninth ones are Ace and Sabo. As kids, Luffy begged his brothers to join his future crew, but all 3 had their sights set on becoming captains. When Luffy reunited with Ace later, the latter was already part of Whitebeard's crew and declined again. The 10th one is Yamato. She proposed to be the Straw Hat's 10th member, and Luffy eventually accepted. But she had unfinished business in Wano, so the plan was put on hold. Who do you think will become the Straw Hat's 10th crew member? Let's discuss in the comment.